Listen to me. I don't care who you are, where you come from, or what you've been through. There are some behaviors, some ways people treat you that you've got to decide today you will never tolerate again. I'm talking about stuff that doesn't just waste your time. I'm talking about what drains your spirit, breaks your confidence, and holds your potential hostage. And the truth is, some of y'all are not tired of being broken. You're just used to it. You've normalized pain. You've normalized people disrespecting you, but not after today. Because today, I'm going to show you 5 behaviors that you've been tolerating, but should have shut down a long time ago. You feel stuck. You feel exhausted. You feel like you're giving and nobody's giving back. This speech is for you. Stay with me, because this isn't just motivation. This is your wake-up call. And if you lock in right now, it might just change your life. Let me tell you something. Disrespect is not just somebody raising their voice at you. It's not just somebody cussing you out. Nah, disrespect is much more subtle than that. And if you don't catch it, if you don't call it out early, it starts to become part of your daily life. It creeps in slow. It's that person who cuts you off every time you speak, like your voice doesn't matter. It's the one who makes jokes at your expense and then says, "I'm just playing," when really they meant every word. It's when someone consistently shows up late, breaks promises, or forgets what matters to you, but they expect you to show up for them every time without hesitation. That's disrespect. And I get it. Some of you have been around it so long, you don't even see it as disrespect anymore. You've been taught to be the bigger person. You've been trained to tolerate anything just to keep the peace. But listen to me. Peace without self-respect is not peace. It's quiet suffering. You're not being mature by letting people walk over you. You're slowly teaching them that your boundaries don't exist. You have to stop making excuses for people who treat you like you're disposable. I know they might be family. I know they might be close. I know they might be someone you love. But if someone consistently disrespects you, makes you feel small, makes you question your worth, makes you doubt your own mind, that's not love. That's control. See, the problem is we've been conditioned to believe that loyalty means endurance. That sticking around while someone treats us like trash somehow makes us stronger. No, strength isn't staying. Strength is leaving when you finally realize that someone's presence cost you your peace. You think God put you on this earth to just survive people's nonsense? To shrink your light so they can shine? To put your dreams on hold while they disrespect your grind? No way. You were built for more. Some of you don't even realize the damage that's being done because you've learned to laugh through it. You've learned to let it go every time someone throws shade at your goals. Every time they tell you you're too much. Every time they roll their eyes when you speak life over yourself. Let me be real with you. They're not just being rude. They're testing how much of your self-worth you're willing to give up to keep them comfortable. And here's the part that hurts. Some people only feel powerful when they make you feel powerless. They need to see you second guessing. They need to keep you in that place where you need their validation just to move. But the moment you wake up and start demanding respect, oh, now you're the problem. Now you've changed. Yes, you've changed because you finally realize your soul was never made to be stepped on. So what do? You make a decision, a final decision, that you will not tolerate disrespect in any form. That means you stop explaining your worth to people who refuse to see it. That means you stop lowering your standards so other people can feel tall. That means if someone doesn't clap for you when you win, you stop inviting them to the celebration. Period. You got to stop being afraid of losing people and start being afraid of losing yourself. Every time you accept disrespect, you're losing a piece of you, your fire, your belief, your identity. And I don't care who it is, if someone consistently disrespects your time, your voice, your space, your heart, You owe it to yourself to create distance. I'm not saying hate them. I'm not saying curse them out. I'm saying elevate above them. Rise up. Because once you learn how to live with respect, real respect, you'll never go back to crumbs again. And let me say this clearly. People don't change when you complain. They change when you change what you tolerate. Some of y'all keep telling people what not to do, but you still stick around. You still answer the phone. You still invite them into your sacred space. No, the shift happens when you stop giving them access. When you stop being available to mistreatment. That's when they start realizing they can't play with you anymore. You teach people how to treat you by what you allow, by what you stop, and by what you walk away from. And I'm telling you, it's time to walk away from anything and anyone that refuses to honor you. Because once you make that shift, everything changes. Your energy changes, your confidence changes, your future opens up. And for the first time, you breathe free. Because there's no weight heavier than the burden of disrespect. So if you've been sitting in silence, biting your tongue, pretending you're okay, I'm giving you permission right now to speak up. Not with hate, not with anger, but with conviction, with power, with purpose. Because your voice matters, your presence matters, and your peace is non-negotiable. Respect isn't a luxury, it's a requirement. Let me talk to you about something that's destroying more dreams, more confidence, and more purpose than you realize, and that's manipulation. See, the dangerous thing about manipulation is it doesn't come at you loud. It doesn't always scream. It doesn't always slap you in the face. Sometimes it comes smiling. Sometimes it comes disguised as love, wrapped up in, I'm just looking out for you. But the truth is, it's control. It's someone trying to bend your decisions, shift your mindset, and keep you small. Not because they care about you, but because they care about controlling you. And the scariest part is, some of y'all in situations right now where you don't even know you're being manipulated. You think you're just being loyal. You think you're just keeping the peace. You think you're doing the right thing by not rocking the boat. But deep down, you feel it. You feel drained. You feel like no matter what decision you make, you got to ask someone else first. Like they got the final say on your life. That's not partnership. That's not family. That's not mentorship. That's bondage. See, manipulators love to keep you second guessing yourself. They don't come out and say, you're not enough. No, they plant seeds. Little comments like, are you sure you want to do that? Or you're being a little selfish, don't you think? Or if you really cared about me, you wouldn't. And what happens? You start pulling back. You start dimming your light. You start rearranging your life, your goals, your time, your purpose, just to keep them happy. That's manipulation. You got people making you feel guilty for choosing yourself, for growing, for healing, for dreaming bigger than they ever dared to. And the moment you try to step up, to step out, to walk in what God put inside you, they hit you with guilt. They start bringing up everything they've done for you, every sacrifice, every favor, like you owe them your destiny because they helped you one time. No, that's not help, that's leverage. That's not support, that's control. And here's the thing, manipulators are strategic. They don't attack your strengths. They go after your soft spots. They know where you've been hurt. They know what you fear. They know how to twist your insecurities into weapons. And if you don't know who you are, if you don't stand on truth, they'll have you apologizing for things you never even did wrong. They'll have you thinking you're the problem when the whole time they've been pulling this. You got to learn how to recognize manipulation for what it is. It's not always a scream. Sometimes it's silence. They go quiet on you when you don't do what they want. They withhold love. They stop showing up. And you, being the big-hearted, loyal person you are, you chase them. You try to fix it. You bend, you compromise, you abandon yourself to keep the relationship alive. But listen, If love requires you to lose yourself, it's not love. It's a trap. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying cut people off every time you disagree. I'm talking about patterns. I'm talking about consistent behavior that makes you feel small, confused, or powerless. I'm talking about people who always play the victim, even when they're the ones causing the damage. They flip the script. You bring up something that hurt you, and suddenly they're the ones crying. Suddenly you're the bad guy. That's manipulation. You got to learn how to hold your ground. Some of y'all are shrinking in rooms where you were meant to stand tall just because someone in that room doesn't want you to know how powerful you really are. They liked you better when you were insecure. They liked you better when you were unsure of yourself, when you needed their permission to make a move. But now you're starting to see. Now you're waking up. Now you're realizing, wait, I'm not crazy. I've been manipulated. And it's not just in relationships, it's on your job too. That boss that tells you you should be grateful you even have this position. That person who acts like you're replaceable just to keep you scared enough not to ask for what you deserve. That's manipulation. You've got to get to a point where you value your peace, your voice, your purpose more than you fear their opinion. Let me tell you something, you don't owe anyone the keys to your mind, your choices, your future. Just because someone helped you doesn't mean they own you. Just because someone's been there doesn't mean they get to control where you go next. At some point, you got to say, I appreciate what you've done for me, but I don't belong to you. I belong to the calling on my life. Manipulators don't want you to grow because growth means freedom. Growth means distance. Growth means they can't use the same tricks on you anymore. But you were never meant to stay stuck in someone else's version of you. You were meant to evolve. You were meant to rise. You were meant to break free from anything that changed your identity to someone else's insecurity. And that takes courage. That takes clarity. That takes knowing who you are and what you will and will not accept. You got to build the strength to say no, even when it disappoints someone, even when it hurts their feelings. Because if their love for you is conditional on you staying small, staying quiet, staying under control, then it's not real love and it's time to let go. You spent too many nights losing sleep over people who sleep just fine after manipulating you. You've cried tears over folks who only show up when they need something, and I came to tell you, your freedom starts the moment you stop explaining your value to people who want to keep you confused. Manipulation ends where self-awareness begins. Let's be real. Some of y'all are exhausted, not because you're lazy, not because you're broken, but because you've been carrying everybody else's darkness on top of your own. You wake up heavy, not because life is too much, but because you've got people in your circle who drain you every single day with their negativity. Every conversation is a complaint. Every story is a problem. Every moment is a crisis. And now you're so used to the weight, you don't even realize that it's not yours. You're trying to stay motivated, trying to stay focused, trying to grind, trying to dream, but you're surrounded by people who only know how to survive. So every time you try to rise, they remind you of how hard it's going to be. Every time you say, I believe in something better, they hit you with, don't get your hopes up. And here's the trap. You start thinking they're just being real, but no, that's not realism. It's fear disguised as wisdom. Some of you are choking under the weight of other people's doubt. You're carrying voices in your head that were never yours to begin with. That coach who told you you'd never make it. That parent who always pointed out what you didn't do right. That friend who rolls their eyes every time you dream out loud. And because you care, because you've got a good heart, you keep letting them stay. You keep showing up for people who never clap for you, who never pour into you, who never speak life into your situation, and you wonder why your flame is flickering. Let me break it down. Negativity is contagious. You can't surround yourself with people who speak death and expect to live a life of purpose. You can't be on fire and spend all your time with folks carrying buckets of water. And listen, I'm not talking about people who are hurting and trying to heal. I'm talking about people who choose to be toxic. People who find a problem for every solution. People who can't stand to see light because it exposes the darkness they've gotten comfortable in. And the crazy part, some of them don't even mean to hurt you. They think they're being honest. They think they're protecting you. But what they're really doing is projecting their own limitations onto your life. And if you don't recognize it, you'll start shrinking to fit their fear. You'll start editing your dream because someone else couldn't see it. And let me tell you, you don't owe anyone an apology for thinking bigger than the room you were born in. You've got to make a decision. Because every time you let negativity sit in your space, it takes up room that was meant for your growth. You only get so much energy in a day. So ask yourself, how much of it are you spending explaining yourself to people who don't even want to understand? How much of it are you wasting listening to conversations that leave you feeling hopeless? How much of it are you investing in people who've never invested in themselves? You can't walk in power while you're surrounded by pessimism. You can't fly when you're constantly tethered to people who think gravity is the final word. And I know what you're thinking, but we've been friends since forever. But that's my family. But I don't want to seem cold. I hear you, but let me ask you this. How long are you going to let history hold your future hostage? Sometimes love means distance. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is step back. Not in anger, not in judgment, but in truth. Because you've got a vision that's too big to be suffocated by other people's disbelief. You got a destiny that can't be delayed by constant complaints. You've got a fire in you that was not made to burn in a toxic environment. Look, every seed has potential, but potential means nothing if it's planted in poison. You can have the right heart, the right gifts, the right discipline, but if you keep putting all that in the wrong environment, it will never grow. You need sunlight, you need clean air, you need water, you need people around you who remind you of who you are, not who you used to be. That's why you've got to be intentional with your space. Protect it, guard it like it's sacred, because it is. Your peace is sacred. Your clarity is sacred. Your energy is sacred. And if someone's presence keeps clouding all of that, it's time to set a new boundary. This is your life. You don't get a redo. You don't get to rewind time and take back the years you spent trying to fix people who had no interest in being healed. You can love people from a distance and still protect your peace. You can pray for people without letting them poison your progress. You can want the best for them and still choose what's best for you. And if that makes you selfish in their eyes, so be it. Because the truth is, some people will call you selfish the moment you stop letting them use you. The moment you stop playing therapist, stop being their emotional punching bag, stop showing up to every pity party. That's when they start complaining. Not because you changed, but because you finally started healing. So here's your wake-up call. Stop tolerating consistent negativity from people who refuse to grow. You're not here to carry other people's demons. You're not here to sacrifice your purpose on the altar of someone else's comfort. You are here to live fully, love deeply, and shine unapologetically. And that requires you to be ruthless with what you allow into your spirit, because your future is too bright to keep dancing in darkness. Let me tell you something real. One of the biggest threats to your purpose isn't just hate. It's inconsistency. It's people who say one thing but do another. People who smile in your face and whisper behind your back. People who make promises they never plan to keep. That kind of behavior, that kind of instability, that's not just frustrating. It's dangerous to your peace, your progress, and your vision. Some of you are trying to build something solid, something lasting, something real. But you keep inviting people into your life who show up one day and disappear the next. They're with you when it's easy, when it benefits them, when the spotlight is shining. But the moment things get quiet, the moment it's not about them, the moment you need them to show up for you, they vanish. And yet you still hold space for them. You still keep the door open. You still convince yourself, well, maybe next time they'll come through. But hear me, consistency is character. A person's pattern tells you more than their words ever will. Stop listening to the speeches. Start watching the habits. Because someone who truly values you, someone who truly believes in you, doesn't just show up when it's convenient. They show up regardless. Their presence doesn't depend on conditions. Their love doesn't come with loopholes. Their loyalty doesn't change with the season. But we've been taught to settle for crumbs. We've been trained to be grateful for the bare minimum. Somebody texts you back after 3 weeks and you feel a spark of hope. Somebody apologizes after 10 betrayals and you say, at least they said sorry. No, that's not growth. That's not respect. That's not partnership. That's inconsistency. And you were never created to be someone's backup plan. You need to understand something. Inconsistency is confusion. It's emotional chaos. It keeps you guessing. It has you questioning your worth, your value, your role in someone's life. And the more you tolerate it, the more it becomes your norm. You start adjusting your expectations. You stop asking for clarity. You tell yourself, maybe this is just how things are. No, it's not. You don't have to accept a revolving door of effort. You don't have to keep rewriting your worth just to keep